Hi, Helen from crystalsandcrochet.com here, and welcome to part one of the Mini Cal Sweet Caroline. This is basically designed as a cushion facing or cushion cover, but obviously you can, if you want to, use this square as a large afghan square. So if you've read the introductory post, you will know that you will need something like one of the plain IKEA cushion covers. These are 20 inches or 50 centimetres square, and you're going to need an assortment of yarns in whatever colours you like. They can be odd balls that you've got, or part balls, which is what I've got here. Okay, so for the video tutorial I am using Stylecraft Special double knitting, and I've got 6 colours here. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, round one. We're going to start with a magic ring. There's lots of different ways to make a magic ring. Your way is the way that works, so it doesn't matter how you do it, we just start with a magic ring, and we're then going to make a beginning double crochet cluster. So to do that we need to chain 2, and that chain 2 counts as our first partial double crochet. Okay, so then we're going to yarn over into the ring, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2. So that's a partial double crochet. It's like we've made half of it. We haven't done that final yarn over and through 2, and we need to do that again. So yarn over into the ring, pull up a loop, yarn over and through 2. You've now got 3 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over and pull through all 3, and that's a beginning double crochet cluster. Okay, now we are going to do a little mini repeat, so we just need to chain 1 and then we're going to make a normal double crochet cluster. Okay, so it's yarn over into the ring, pull up a loop, yarn over through 2, and we need to do that 3 times. So that's 2 and 3. Okay, this time we've got 4 loops on our hook. We yarn over, pull through all of them, chain 1 and make another double crochet cluster. Now you need to do that little mini repeat 5 times, so in total you're going to have 6 chain 1 spaces and 6 double crochet clusters. Okay, so we've got 4. So here's number 5, 2 and 3, and chain 1, and then the last one, 1, 2 and 3, and then don't forget that last chain 1. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 double crochet clusters, and we've got 6 chain 1 spaces, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the one that we've made just here. Okay, so just pull up your ring and then we're just going to snip the end off and then fasten. Now I always use an invisible join just because I feel it makes everything neater. So when you're going to make an invisible join, this is the top of our cluster stitch here. So we need to come from behind through that chain 1, because the invisible join that we're going to make is going to form like a fake top to that stitch, down through the chain 1 there, and then down through the back of the cluster. Okay, now you can pull up your magic ring and pull it really tight. Okay, so there is round 1 finished. Okay, on to round 2. Slip knot on your hook, and then you're going to join with a standing double crochet in any chain 1 space. Okay, so for standing double crochet we're going to yarn over once, and then I always like to go away from where my last join was. So there's my chain 1 space in between the clusters. So we yarn over, pull up a loop, through 2 and through 2. That's our standing double crochet. Okay, if there's any stitches as we go along that you're not sure of, you will find that I have got video tutorials on all of the basic stitches, but anything that's a little bit tricky I'm going to take a little bit of extra time with as I'm making these videos. Okay, now we need to make 3 double crochet in the same space. Okay, so that's 1, 2 and 3. Okay, so we've got 4 double crochet now in that space. And now we're going to do a little repeat where we're going to skip the next cluster, and then we're going to make 4 double crochet in the next chain 1 space. We've already done it once, so we need to do it 5 more times. Okay. Now if you happen to have problems reading patterns, or you're not sure how to read a crochet pattern, I would strongly advise that you print off the pattern, even if you do it without the pictures, but if you do it with the pictures it will make it much easier for you. And as we go along you can read the pattern and listen to what I'm saying, because all I'm doing is reading the pattern out loud to you basically, and you'll find very quickly that you'll start to understand patterns more. The main thing is to make sure that you read at the beginning of any pattern that you're going to make what the abbreviations are and what the terminology is. Okay, so my patterns are all done in US terminology. Even though I learn in UK terminology, I just find US terminology easier to understand. It sort of makes sense in my head. Okay, so there we go. We've now got 4 double crochet. So if you read the pattern, it says 4DC, which is the abbreviation for double crochet. So 4 double crochet in each of those 6 chain 1 spaces. Again, we're going to fasten off and secure the ends. That's the end of round 2, and I'll see you for for round 3. Okay, on to round 3. And round 3 begins with a beginning popcorn between any 4 double crochet groups. Okay, so we're going to be working here into the space between the stitches, not into the stitches themselves. Okay, so to make a beginning popcorn, we need to begin with a standing double crochet, and we need to make 4 more double crochets, okay, because a popcorn has 5 double crochets. And that's our 5th one in total. Okay, pull that loop up gently and take your hook out. Put your hook underneath the top 2 loops of that standing double crochet, and then pop your hook back into that working loop on that last double crochet. Pull down slightly, and what I do is I actually push with my finger behind the stitch so that it pushes it forward, and then as I pull through like that, I don't get caught up anywhere. Okay, and then we chain 1 to close the popcorn, and that actually makes it pop forward like that. Okay, that chain 1 does not count anywhere in any stitch counts or anything that we do. Okay, now we're going to skip 2 stitches, so that's these first 2, and we're going to make 5 double crochet between the second, there's a second, there's a third, so between. So again, not into the top of the stitch, okay, but in between, just 5 double crochet. And that's 2, 3, 4 and 5. Okay, so we've got 5 double crochet there. Sorry, I'm just going to zoom out a weeny bit, that's better. Okay, then we skip the next 2 stitches, so that's these 2 here, and we make another popcorn in between the groups. Okay, so you're not working into the top of any stitches in this round, you're working between the groups of stitches and between the second and third double crochet of any group of 4. Okay, so in our popcorn we've got 5 double crochet, hook into that first stitch, pick the loop back up, pop it forward, pull it through, chain 1 to close. Okay, so this is your repeat, that you're going to skip these 2 stitches, 5 double crochet between the second and third double crochet, skip these 2 stitches and make a popcorn between the double crochet groups. Okay, you're going to repeat that all the way round. So basically you've got 6 repeats and you just miss off that last popcorn. Okay, I'll catch up with you at the end. Okay, so I've come all the way round to the end. Again, using a invisible join. This is the first of our double crochets here. This is our popcorn stitch and this is our chain 1. So in order to make the invisible join, we need to go into the chain 1 that fastens the popcorn off and then down through the back of the popcorn, so that we are making that stitch, which is the actual popcorn itself, that's our invisible join. So we're remaking that stitch. Okay, so that is round 3 complete. Now I like to work my ends away fairly often, 3 or 4 rounds, and then I'll work them all away, just because I get irritated by all the ends hanging around at the back. So I'm just going to work those ends away and then we'll start round 4. Okay, so on to round 4. Again, we've got another beginning stitch at the beginning of this round, but this time it's a treble cluster. And it says to join with a beginning treble cluster between any 5 double crochet group and popcorn. Okay, so that's at the end of the 5 double crochet group and just before the popcorn, and again it's between, it's not into either of those stitches. Okay, so for our beginning treble cluster, there's a couple of ways you can do it. I like to work like as a standing stitch if I'm not carrying on with the same colour where I need to do a certain number of chains. Okay, so we're going to yarn over twice and keep hold of that to make sure it doesn't slip around, and then the hook's going to go between the 5 double crochets and the popcorn. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2. Okay, so we've got 2 loops left on our hook there. Okay, now again with the cluster, because we need 3 partial stitches, so we need to do 2 more. So again it's yarn over twice, pull up a loop and then come through 2 loops, 1, 2 times, and again four loops on our hook, yarn over and pull through. So that's a beginning treble cluster. Okay, we're then going to chain 4, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to make another treble cluster between the popcorn and the 5 double crochets. So it's the same again with those partial stitches, which is where you just don't make that last yarn over and pull through those last 2 loops. Okay, so again 4 loops on my hook, yarn over and pull through. Again we're going to chain 4 and then we're going to cluster for treble cluster between the 5 double crochet and the popcorn, exactly like we did right at the very beginning. Okay, chain 4, and then your next treble cluster is going in between the popcorn and the 5 double crochet as you start the repeat again. Okay, so just carry on and work all the way round like that. So you've got 2 treble clusters sort of coming up each side of the popcorn with a chain 4 here and a chain 4 here. Okay, once you've come all the way around and you've made the last 2 treble clusters here, make that last chain 4 and join to this beginning treble cluster. Okay, so there is round 4 finished. So you've got 2 treble clusters each side of each popcorn, and then you've got chain 4 spaces in between each of those 6 pairs as well. Okay, so you've got a total of 12 treble clusters and 12 chain 4 spaces. Okay, let's move on to round 5. Okay, and on to round 5. So we're going to join with a standing double crochet in the chain 4 space above any popcorn. Okay, so here's our popcorn. So we're going to join with a standing single crochet in that chain 4 space directly above the popcorn. Okay, and let's just scoot that along a little bit. So we're going to skip this next cluster, and then in the next chain 4 space we're going to do 2 single crochet, and then working in front of the chain 4 space we're going to do a 5 treble cluster into the 3rd double crochet of this 5, and we're then going to do another 2 single crochet into the chain 4 space. Okay, so it sounds quite a lot, but it's actually very simple. So literally 2 single crochet into the chain 4 space, and then working in front of this space and down into the 3rd double crochet we are going to do a 5 treble cluster. Okay, so into that stitch and then bend that back so that you are just working into this stitch. Okay, and then we're going to do 5 like this. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Okay, so we've got 5 partial trebles. We've got 6 loops on our hook altogether, yarn over, pull through all 6, okay, and that's been made in front of this chain 4 space. Okay, now we're going to make another 2 single crochet in that same chain 4 space. Okay, so you've got 2 single crochet, the 5 treble cluster down into the 3rd double crochet, and then another 2 single crochet there. Okay, we're going to skip the next cluster, and then in the next chain 4 space, sorry, pull my pattern a little bit closer to me so I can see. Okay, again 2 single crochet, and then again working in front of this chain 4 space we're going to do a 5 treble cluster into the popcorn. So remember, the popcorn is not that chain 1 that's on the top, these are the loops here on the side of the popcorn, so that's where we need to make our stitch. Okay, so again into the popcorn, bend that previous row back, yarn over and pull up a loop, and again we are doing 5 treble cluster. Sorry, this yarn is gone squeaky, so let me just change my hook. That's it. Okay, that's better. I don't like squeaky yarn. Okay, that's 4, so then let's that last one. Yarn over and through all of the loops, and then 2 more single crochets into that chain 4 space. So your crochet, treble crochet 5 together will tend to dip back. Once we've finished, they're going to pop forward slightly like that. Okay, so just keep going all the way round. So you've got 2 single crochet and a 5 treble cluster into the 3rd double crochet, 2 single crochet, skip the cluster, 2 single crochet, a 5 treble cluster into the popcorn and 2 single crochet, and just keep going all the way round until you join back up to here. And on that last one where you're making your 5 treble cluster into your popcorn, you'll only do 1 single crochet afterwards because you've already got one there. Okay, and I'll catch up with you as I come back round to here. Okay, so there's the last cluster made, and then just 1 more single crochet in there because the pattern says to omit that last single crochet. Okay, finish off, and then we are ready to move on to round 6. Okay, on to round 6. We're going to start with a standing front post single crochet around any 5 treble cluster. So just pick one and make sure that your hook is right around that stitch, not catching anything at all, and front post single crochet. We're then going to skip the next stitch, and then we're going to make 4 double crochet in the next 2 stitches. Okay, so it's 4 in each. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, and 4 in that one, and then 4 into the next one. 1, oops, 2, 3, and 4. Skip the next stitch, and then front post single around the next cluster. Okay, so that's your repeat. Front post single, skip a stitch, 4 double crochets in the next 2 stitches, so you've got 8 altogether. Skip the next stitch, front post single. Just keep working all the way round exactly like that. Okay, so skip the next stitch, 4 double crochet in the next 2 stitches. Whoops. That's 4 in there. I've got a real squeaky hook problem today. let me just, okay, so where are we? 1, 2, 3, 4, skip that next stitch, front post single around that next cluster. Okay, so just carry on like that all the way around, and then when you come all the way around you're going to join with an invisible join into that first front post single crochet. Okay, so moving on to round 7, we are going to join with a standing back loop single crochet in the first double crochet of any second group of 4 double crochet. So this is the second group. Obviously we did 4 in that stitch, 4 in that stitch, so this is the second group, and we want to go into that first double crochet with a standing back loop single. Now if you've not seen any of my videos or patterns before, when I work into the back loop, it's not just the back loop, but if you see that loop coming across at the bottom there, that's the third loop. By working into the back loop and the third loop, what happens is you stop this loop from getting stretched up. So just go straight into the top of the stitch and down, and then push back, and you'll see that you pick up there both the back loop and that third loop, and then just make your stitch as normal. Okay, but it just, if I pull on that, it just stops that stretching that you can get if you work only into the back loop. Okay, so we are now going to skip the next 3 stitches, so that's those 3 there, and we're going to make 5 treble in the next stitch, which is our front post single crochet. Okay, so skip these 3 and 5 treble into here. So there's 1, and again with trebles, a lot of people have problems with the top of the stitches being too big, and very, very simple trick is once you've done your 2 yarn overs, just pull slightly on the yarn and hold your finger at the back and just let that roll down like that. That way you're shortening the gap from the base of the stitch and you're keeping the top of your stitches nice and even. Okay, so we've got 4, so we want number 5. Okay, so 5 treble, skip the next 3 stitches, so that's those first 3 double crochets, and then back loop single crochet in the next 2 stitches, so that's the 4th double crochet of that first set of 4 and the first one which matches into this first stitch we made here. Okay, so again just straight down, pop through, pick up that 3rd loop at the back as well, and everything stays nice and even. Okay, so that's your repeat. Again, another very simple little repeat to work round. So you're only going to be working your 5 trebles into your front post singles and your back loop single crochets into the 4th of that first set, or the last of the first set and the first of the second set. Okay, those 2 stitches. Okay, so just carry on all the way around, and then again we've already made one of the back loop singles here, so you can just join into that and that will be round 7 done. Okay, so that's round 7 finished, and we've joined to that first back loop single crochet with a slip stitch. Okay, use the pattern to help you with stitch count, and make sure that you do check your stitch count every round. That way you don't have the problem of suddenly finding you've missed something in a further round. Okay, so that's round 7 finished, and now we'll move straight into round 8. Let's get that tail end out the way. So we're going to chain 1 and single crochet in that same stitch that we've just joined to with a slip stitch. Okay, let me just zoom in a weeny bit. There we go. Okay, so now in our repeat we are going to double crochet in the next stitch, so that's our first treble, and we're going to make 2 double crochet in the next 3 stitches. Okay, so there's 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2, and then we're going to make 1 double crochet in that next stitch, so that's the last treble, and then we're going to single crochet in those next 2 stitches, which are the 2 single crochets. Okay, so that's our repeat. So we've got 1 double crochet and then 2 double crochet 3 times, then 1 double crochet, and then 2 single crochets into those single crochets. Okay, so very, very simple. 1 double crochet into the first treble, 2 double crochet into the next 3, that's 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2, and 1, and then single crochet in those next 2 stitches. Okay, so carry on all the way round, and this time when you come all the way round to that first single crochet that you made there, join to that first single crochet and fasten off. Okay, and I will see you for round 9. Okay, on to round 9. We are going to join with a standing back post double crochet around the last double crochet of any repeat. So that's basically the single double crochet that we've made here in the last of any of our shells. Okay, so a standing back post double crochet. Okay, so making sure that you're right around the post and a double crochet. Okay, we're going to skip these next 2 stitches, which are the 2 single crochets, and then we're going to back post double around the next 2 stitches. Okay, so we're only working around the double crochets. We're not working into any of the single crochets in this round. Okay, so we've got 2 back post doubles. Then we're going to back post half double around the next one. Okay, and then we've got a back post single around the next 2. And 2. Then to mirror the other side, we've got a half double, back post half double, and 2 back post doubles. 1 and 2. Okay, so we're tipping our shell or petal forward slightly, but we're actually starting to even off and round out all of this. Okay, so let me just show you one more repeat. We're going to skip those 2 single crochets and we're going to back post double in the first 2, or around the first 2 should I say, then a back post half double crochet around the next stitch, back post single around the next 2 stitches, back post half double around the next one, and then back post double around the next 2. Okay, so carry on all the way round. Obviously in that last shell we've already made that back post double, so there's only going to be 1 at the end there. Join to that standing back post double, fasten off and secure your ends. Okay, I will see you for round 10. Okay, so moving on to round 10. In the pattern there's a hint that the treble clusters that we're going to make in this round are going to fall in the last back post double and the first back post single of every repeat. Okay, so as you work around, it just gives you, if you like, a landmark that you're going to have one of your clusters here in this last double, and then one is going to sit here in your first single. Okay, so that's where they're going to sit as we go round, just to give you a little bit of a landmark. Okay, so we're going to join with a beginning treble cluster in that last back post double of any repeat. Okay, so into that last back post double, and then we're going to make a beginning treble cluster. So it's that standing treble without that last yarn over and through those 2 loops, and then 2 more partial trebles. 1 and 2, and then yarn over and through all of them. Okay, so that's our beginning treble cluster. Okay, and then our repeat is to chain 4, skip those next 3 stitches, and then treble cluster in that next one, which is that first back post single. Okay, so again, a really nice simple round, simple repeat. In fact, most of the stitches are nice and simple in this whole design. Okay, chain 4, 4, skip the next 3 stitches, which will bring your next cluster into that last back post double, and just carry on all the way round like that until you get back to that first beginning treble cluster that you made. Join onto there, fasten off and secure your ends. Okay, so round 10 finished, and don't worry if it's curling up. Okay, as we make the next round it will help everything to lay out flat, so don't worry if it's curling up like that. Okay, so on to round 11. We're going to join with a standing front post single crochet around any cluster. Okay, so just pop it around, single front post around any of those clusters. Now what we're going to do here is very similar to what we did back here. Okay, so in that chain 4 space we are going to make 2 single crochet. There's 2, okay, and then working in front of this chain 4 space we're going to make a treble cluster. So this time it's just a normal treble cluster, the same as we've done here, into that second skipped stitch from round 9. So into that middle one, okay? So into that middle stitch, bend round 10 backwards out of the way so that you can pick up and make your cluster, your treble cluster, exactly the same as you normally would, but working in front of round 10. Okay, and then again 2 single crochets into that chain 4 space, and then your front post single around that cluster. Okay, so again you've got 2 single crochet into the next chain 4 space, then we're going to make a treble cluster into the second or center skipped stitch, so into there, bend that row back out of the way so that you can work your treble cluster in sorry, excuse me, into that second skipped stitch. 2 single crochet into that chain 4 space, and then front post single around your cluster. Okay, so we're just getting an alternating ring of clusters. Okay, so carry on all the way round and I'll catch up with you when I get round near to the end. Okay, so again we started with that front post, so in this last repeat you're only going to need to do those 2 single crochets because the front post single is already there, and just join to that front post single crochet, and then that is round 11 done. And as you can see it's starting, in fact if I zoom out a weeny bit more you can see it's starting to sit a lot flatter again, but not so much in this part, but certainly in the second and third part, you will find it will curl and wobble a little bit. Don't worry about it. It's all part of the crazy plan. Okay, so that is round 11 completed. Okay, so on to round 12. We're going to join with a standing front post double crochet around any treble cluster. Okay, so again, straight round and then make a standing double around that front post like that. Okay, now make sure you don't miss this first stitch behind there, because we're going to double crochet in the next 2 stitches. So there's 1 and 2, and then we're going to do 2 double crochet in the next stitch. So that will be the front post single that we did around this cluster. So 2 in there and 2, and then a double crochet in the next 2 stitches. 1, 2, and then a front post around that next cluster. Okay, so again, really nice simple repeat. Just make sure that you don't skip that first stitch there that's hidden behind this front post double. Okay, so it's 1 and 1, and then 2 into the front post single, and then 1 and 1, and then another front post double around that cluster. Okay, so again, just carry on all the way round like that, and then when we get all the way round to the beginning here, we're going to join to this standing front post double with a slip stitch. Okay, so I'll catch up with you once I've gone all the way round. Okay, so there's the end of round 12, and we've joined here with a slip stitch. So let me just zoom in a weeny bit, and we will move straight on to round 13, which is the last round of part 1 of this Sweet Caroline crochet along. Okay, so we've joined into this front post double crochet, so we're going to chain 3, and that counts as a double crochet, and we're also going to make a second double crochet into this same stitch. So you've got 2 double crochet in there now. Okay, again, a very simple repeat. We're going to double crochet in the next 13 stitches, and then make 2 double crochet in the next stitch, and we're going to do that 12 times, obviously omitting these last 2. So we're going to make 13 double crochet. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 and 13, and then we're going to make 2 double crochet in the next stitch. Okay, and what you will notice, a little landmark for you, we started off with 2 double crochet in this front post double here, then made 13, so not in the next one but the next but one. That's where we're increasing again. So as you work your way around, your increase where you put your 2 double crochet will fall in every second stitch, every second front post double crochet. Okay, so carry on all the way round, 13 double crochet and then 2 double crochet in the next stitch, and I'll catch up with you as I come round to this last little bit. Okay, so just on the last repeat here, so that's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 and 13, because as we said at the beginning, we've already made those 2 double crochets at the end of that repeat. Okay, so this is the end of round 13. I'm just going to do, oops, wrong way, out like that, the end of round 13 and the end of part 1 of this little mini crochet along. So just work away all of your tail ends now and pop it to one side, ready for part 2. Okay, thanks for watching and crocheting along. I will see you for part 2.